So my name, Janessa, I'm just going to go over the whole script. Just here, kind of going over, just meeting with someone with in the laboratory field to kind of gain a better understanding of, everyone that works there and how they cooperate and their importance in the field.
Absolutely.
And then your name is Deidra Pittman, or do you prefer Miss Pittman, Mrs. Pittman?
Deidra Pittman is fine. Or you can call me Deidra.
Okay. All right. I did see your name on like the NACL's website, and I did see that you had they kind of listed you as like program director, um, phlebotomist, LPN, and
Yeah.
MA. What does that stand for?
Oh, I have a master's degree in clinical mental health counseling, so I'm also a licensed professional nurse. Nurse and counselor. Sorry.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. I'm honored to meet with you. That's impressive.
Thank you.
Um, can you tell me about maybe your background and how you kind of came to work with CLC and
Absolutely. So I am a former resident of Lake County. I graduated from North Chicago Community High School. I was a tech campus student, so I did programs with COC through tech campus while I was in high school. And then I wind up, I went away to school, had a lot of death in the family. My parents divorced, so I came back to Lake County and wound up enrolling in COC's phlebotomy program. So I got my phlebotomy certification in 2008, and then I really enjoyed it. So I was sub here and there, and then I wind up becoming a nurse a few years later, and they offered me to come back to teach part-time. So I started as a sub, moved my way part-time, then I became full-time, and now I'm over the phlebotomy department.
wow.
So that's why you see my name on the NACL's website.
Hey. Um, I guess next questions I was going to ask you is kind of going over the training that it kind of required when you had to take on. I know you took the phlebotomy course. Did you, when you took like a job as a phlebotomist, what was there on the job training? Did they, you know,
So working as a phlebotomist, I primarily, well, for COC, the program has been the same. We have three courses. There is Introduction to the Medical Lab. We teach people how to draw non-blood specimens, so like urine, stool, nasal swabs, anything that does not consist of blood, is that first course. Our second course is PBT 115, which covers venipuncture. So we teach our students how to draw blood three different ways, using straight needle, a butterfly, and also a syringe. And then we have a third course, which is the 116, that is their clinical experience. It also prepares our students to grow up and be working in the medical laboratory. So there's a lot of hands off, and we kind of push our babies out there to kind of be self-sufficient. They also, during that class, they have a 3-week clinical rotation as well, where they're going out to our local hospitals, and they're doing 40-hour weeks for 3 weeks to for our NECLS accreditation. Our students are required to have 100 successful venipunctures. Our students generally average 300 to 400 venipunctures by the end of their 3 weeks.
do you feel like the training that they receive there is a lot better than some of the other colleges?
I would say so. I also have a advisory committee for our phlebotomy department, and a lot of our clinical sites they sit on our advisory board. And one of the things that we have gotten great feedback about is they can tell the difference between our students and other locations. And as far as like that NACLS accreditation, there aren't many programs local that have that NACLS accreditation. We're like the only one. And then there's like Oakton, which is like further like Des Plaines area. So that's something that we're really proud of. And our students are generally prepared to be hired on their clinical experience. They treat it like it's a job, and it's a 3-week job interview for them. A lot of my students have been hired at their clinical sites, which is great. And then those who like are still struggling, that they may come back and ask for other opportunities. Um, they may not be fully confident, but as far as their skill set, by the time they're going to their internship, they are skilled enough to work on their own. We also tell our students that we are super important because as phlebotomists, we start the diagnostic process. Without us, the doctors and the nurses cannot treat the patients. We can't diagnose, we can't medicate, we can't do anything until we properly collect those specimens. So making them feel like they're just as important. Nurses put in, we take out for diagnostic purposes. So we kind of tell them what's the next step for their patients.
Do you feel that like some of the students that come to the phlebotomy program, do you feel like they're going into healthcare for the first time, or do you feel like they're coming from another field or background?
I've seen a mix of both. We've had students as young as 18, students as old as 73.
Oh, wow.
So, coming out of retirement board and wanting something to do, phlebotomy is something that you can get into really quickly. 12 weeks, you're in a career, which is something and it's like a lucrative career,
Yeah.
which is something that's not quite heard of. So I think that attracts a lot of people to our program. So we do have people who are just like basic entry level. We have some that this is a complete career change for them. Some people are like business or technology and healthcare. This is their first experience doing anything related to healthcare. So in our program, it is kind of engrafted to kind of teach them like how to use computers, how to build their resume, how to build a cover letter. So all of that is formulated into the program.
I one of the things, hierarchy in the lab, I was kind of wanting to go over. So I know there's the phlebotomist. Is there like medical lab technicians and then like medical lab scientists?
Yes. So there are levels to it. CLC doesn't offer like a medical lab technology program. That is something that we are hoping to dabble into in the future. But as of right now, we've had a lot of conversations with students who are like fascinated with the lab and like the specimen analysis process. Those are generally done by your medical lab technicians. And then you also have medical lab scientists who like, or your pathologists who study disease. So there's like a lot of different tiers and a lot of areas to grow in the medical laboratory field.
Do you feel that maybe some of the students that graduate from the program go on to like become like a medical lab technician or a medical lab scientist?
I believe so. My group from last year, that was the first group that everybody in the class wanted to expand more inside of the medical laboratory because oftentimes you'll find people wanting to go into like radiology, which you would need to learn how to access veins because sometimes they do have to inject dyes and put IVs in to do some of the imaging. You have people who want to go like into dental hygiene, or you'll have people who want to be nurses, like myself. So I had one particular group that I really had to do some research and find them programs to continue on. So I know Oakton, which is why I know a lot about Oakton, and also Harper College is another NACLS accredited college that has a greater resource for being able to get some of those certifications and degrees in the medical lab programs.
Do they offer like bridge pathways for your students?
That would be great. But right as of right now, I don't think we have any partnerships outside
Um,
of what we have right as with our clinical sites. But that would be awesome.
yeah. Let's see. Do you feel that, you know, the demand for lab like phlebotomist and lab staff has like grown over the years or
Absolutely. And it's projected to increase 30% over the next 20 years.
okay. And let's see. And the rest of my too. You kind of asked a lot. You gave me a lot of info.
One of the things with our phlebotomy course, because we are a NACLS accredited program, if our students go to another NACLS accredited program, those credits do transfer over into their MLT and their MLS degree because you are required to know how to obtain specimens. So you do have some of the credit going towards those certifications and degrees.
That also leads to another question I had, and that was about I've seen where there are little like colleges popping up with programs, but they're not accredited. Like
Mm.
say, Gateway, I know they have a program for MLT, but it's all online. And I'm like,
Mhm.
do you feel that like the students can learn on an in an online format as opposed to in person and kind of gaining that skill firsthand?
I think there's only so much that you can teach online. With COVID, we had to be creative. Um, that was the first time that we've actually had to teach virtually. So all of our classes are in person. We kind of set up things hybrid, meaning like all of the things that my students would need to access for class, they can do that through a platform we use called Canvas, where they would get their syllabus, all of their quizzes and things are embedded into an online platform. But as far as their experience for learning, all of that's in person. And we had to pivot because the campus is all shut down. But I cannot show people how to draw blood. I can't trust people to know how to draw blood without seeing that one-on-one contact. So we had to shut down, teach for a while online, and then we would get so far and say, okay, we have to get some workshops so we can get people in. So we had to get like special clearance for our program specifically to be able to come back in the building to actually teach people these one-on-one skills for these encounters. And it's important that the students get that hands-on experience because for us, we're healthy and viable, but when you're in the hospital, that's unrealistic. Everybody's sick, not feeling good. So you want to be able to work on different types of veins, know how to troubleshoot in different types of situations. So a lot of times our classroom is built like a safe space where we share like what's actually going on with our health, past experiences with phlebotomy. Um, I always ask people who's ever had a bad experience with a blood draw, and we kind of talk through it. Who's ever heard that you have bad veins? Because sometimes we'll hear things like that, and I'm like, those are all untrue. If you're not amputated, you have good blood flow. So, like debunking a lot of myths and a lot of students feel good because they come in feeling bad. Like I have bad veins. They tell me all the time that nobody can draw me. And then someone who is like a novice, just like them, gets their blood. They're like, oh my God, I'm okay. And nothing's wrong with me. She was able to get my blood, or he was able to get my blood. So even you wouldn't experience or know that if you didn't get to do that hands-on.
Wow. Yeah, I agree because definitely I feel like with the online platforms I've been seeing this, like, I don't know, that just doesn't seem very safe.
It doesn't. I don't want anybody sticking a sharp object in my body that's never done it before.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
want
that's
you to get
universal.
it.
Uh, let's see. Let's see. Yep, you went over COVID-19. That answered that question. Um, let's see. Trying to think of any other questions. Do you think there's any questions that you have maybe that I didn't ask or information you feel like other people might know or
So
need?
there are different types of certifications out there. For our program, we push our students to get their certification through the ASCP, which is the American Society for Clinical Pathology. Um, that certification is a national certification. So, one of the questions that we also ask students, do you plan on moving? Or are there things that you're planning on doing? Because if so, we try to get them placed for clinical sooner, make sure that they are able to complete all of their things before they move to a new place. But one of the beautiful things about that certification is you don't have to retest or recertify if you were to move or to go out of the country because it is nationally accepted. So even with those schools, some of those schools don't allow you to be able to test for those accreditations. So then you got to go back. So I've also had students come in to me before to say, hey, I took an online phlebotomy program. I've never drawn before and I tried to do my certification. So can I come and take your class just to draw? And I'm like, we don't accept those. They're not accredited. So you would have to do the whole program. So I always tell people to be careful about those type of programs because it sounds good. Become a phlebotomist in 2 weeks. But realistically, if it's too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't realize it until the money is spent and it's too late to get out of it.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me.
Absolutely.
Is it if I have any other questions, is it possible for me to email you? But
Absolutely. My
okay.
email is fine.
All right. I appreciate you again. Thank you.
You're welcome. And if you ever want to pop by and see us, feel free to do that. Pop by
Thank
our
you.
lab. We have a beautiful lab. It's on the fourth floor and the 34 North building in Waukegan on Sheridan Road.
Okay.
And our classroom has a full view of Lake Michigan.
Oh,
So
wow. Gorgeous view and a beautiful lab. Wow. Yeah. I definitely probably pop in.
if you're interested too, I will be hosting an advisory meeting. I'm looking to get dates on the calendar. It'll probably be in May, just to kind of give time for scheduling and for the other sites to be available. If that's something that you're interested in, I'll send you out an invite.
Okay. Yeah. Please do.
Okay.
All right. Again, thank you.